50. I get it. I get it. Yeah. I run New York. I get it.
And hello and welcome to the Bagwell Academy of Martial Arts and Fitness Show. I am your host, Shihan Herbie Bagwell. This is 7 of 9 part of my guest series going to the spring, going into the summer. I'm very excited about this evening's guest. We are not only friends, we are colleagues. We met in the Milford Chamber, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
And he invited me over to his studio, which is in Milford. We will get to his location in just 1 minute. But I want to basically say hello and welcome to my show, Master Chris LaCava of Hapkido.
Thank you, brother.
How you doing, sir?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing, man. God is good. You know that all the time.
Amen.
This gentleman right here, we can talk martial arts until this time next Friday morning. We tape in the mornings, of course, and you see the show on Tuesday evenings. He's very unique. He combines a holistic way of life. He has a wonderful family, a wonderful studio, fantastic lineage. We both share in our lineage. We're very proud of our lineage in martial arts. But without further ado, a friend of mine, Master Chris LaCava. Chris, once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
You're welcome. Master LaCava, explain to my viewers your background and how you got to this point in your life, not only martial arts wise, but personally, of course, professionally.
Okay. Well, I've been in the martial arts for just about 30 years now. Can't believe it's been that long. But and so 30 years in the martial arts. I've traveled to Korea to train with my teacher. I try to go every year.
Yes.
But of course, finances dictate whether or not that
I know
happens.
the feeling. Yes, sir.
But I try to go there every year. I've been going there since about 2003 was my first trip.
Yes.
I've been very fortunate to be invited to teach at a lot of martial art conferences and seminars throughout the United States. Just been very fortunate in my career altogether.
Beautiful.
As far as acupuncture is concerned, I'm a graduate of Tri-State College of Acupuncture in Manhattan. And after I graduated, I worked there as a faculty member, part of a team. And I also, while I was at Tri-State, I trained with a lot of great practitioners.
Wow.
Mark Seam, Kiko Matsumoto, Arya Nielsen, and definitely shaped the way I practice.
Yes.
Way I'm able to help people.
Absolutely.
So after I graduated, I did a 2.5-year apprenticeship with Emily Connor, who was the head of the Japanese department at Tri-State at the time. And then after that, traveled to Japan to train with Kiko's teacher, who was still
Amazing.
alive.
Yes.
And that was fantastic.
Absolutely.
After that, I was a president of the Connecticut Society for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine from 2006 to 2009. Helped reform that.
Yes.
And I currently teach at the University of Bridgeport's Acupuncture Institute.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So, kind of giving back to the community.
Absolutely. Now, briefly, what was it like traveling abroad? What was that like?
At first, it was a little different. I was a little nervous, to be honest with you.
Yes.
You know, you're going to a country you've never been before.
Yes.
Culture is different. Language is different.
Right.
And fortunately, when the first year I went to Korea, I was in acupuncture school.
Right.
So therefore, I had a lot of Korean students in my class, so they would help me with my Korean.
Yes.
And it's still lackluster. It's
Of
still
course.
not good, but
I know the feeling.
You know,
Yes.
but
Yes.
at least I can get around Korea.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
not having any deep, meaningful conversations or anything, but I can get around.
Absolutely.
So that was fantastic. Going to Korea. In Korea, I go to Daegu, which is in South Korea.
Yes.
That's like the birthplace of Hapkido.
Yes.
And when I go, people don't know how to respond to me at first because there's 3 military bases in Daegu. And so when I walk into a store or something, they kind of give me the see how I react. You know, because there's cool GI, and then there's not. You know.
Right.
So once I start speaking my lackluster Korean, they're like, "Oh, your Korean very nice. Where you learn Korean? Oh, very nice." And they treat you like gold.
Yes.
You know, if you have some interest in their culture, anything,
Yes.
they welcome you with open arms.
Yes.
So, and that the same thing with my teacher. They train us hard, but they treat us like gold.
Right.
You know, nobody you know, some people say, oh, well, you know, they're going to beat up on the white guys and, you know, the Americans.
Right.
But that's not the case. You know,
Right.
we train with people from Korea, and they're not getting anything different than we are.
Right.
And it's a really great experience.
Wonderful. A lot of people don't know, but you know, as a 6th degree black belt in Taekwondo, we get our self-defense from Hapkido. And a lot of practitioners have no idea about that. So when I'm teaching my classes, we have, of course, Hapkido time, and they're learning Hapkido, which is the self-defense we get from, of course, for Taekwondo. Master LaCava, the martial arts that you train in, explain some of the techniques that you do in martial arts, and then try to blend that into your acupuncture at the same time.
Good question. I train in Hapkido, which is a Korean martial art.
Yep.
Deals a lot with joint locking, controls, submissions, pressure points. And there's no sport application to it. It's pretty much all self-defense. We don't have kata or hyung or forms. It's go at it. It's like, what do you need to do to defend yourself?
Yes.
There's no rules about it.
Right.
You know. I also train in Gohapdo, which is a cross between Korean sword and Japanese sword. And the sword style we train in is Chungsuk Gohapdo, which was founded by my teacher. And you see a lot of Japanese influence in what we do. And the reason why is that my teacher was a top student of Komese Kaguchi sensei, who is the leader of one of the lines of Muso Jikidane Shinru, which is a very famous sword style in Japan.
Yes.
So when somebody sees one of our guys train, they're like, it looks a lot more Japanese than Korean.
Right.
But that just comes from the background of my teacher.
Well, briefly, I mean, we can argue this all day, but I still contend that the Japanese are the best swordsmen in the world.
You know, it all depends on the practitioner.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
It really does boil down to that. How much you put in is what you're going to get back. Just like the bank.
I say it
the
all
more
the
you put
time.
in, more you get back.
The more you get back.
Right.
That sound familiar, students? The more you put into it, the more you get out of it. We train Kendo, of course, at Bagwell Academy of Martial Arts. But this show's about Mr. Master LaCava. You have a lot of prestigious teachers, and of course, he's famous. But what else goes into your training?
I also study another style called Kali. It's a La Casa and a Santo style Kali.
Yep, Dayan Santo.
Yep.
Yes.
And I was first introduced to Kali in around 91. And I just thought it was a fantastic art. It was so combat applicable.
Yes.
And it's Filipino, people consider it Filipino stick and knife fighting.
Exactly.
And the Filipinos are known to be one of the top practitioners in stick and knife. So, and I see that, and they're also, a lot of people don't know, but their empty hand is nasty.
Yes.
Ridiculously nasty. So I've been doing that, and currently a student of Sensei Rafi Dudarian in Rhode Island. And as far as my other teachers concerned, Grandmaster Lim Young-soo. Grandmaster Lim, he's phenomenal.
Yes.
He's not only a good practitioner, but he's a good guy.
Yes.
And to me, that means a lot, because
Absolutely.
I'm a martial arts addict.
Yes.
If there was MAA, Martial Arts Anonymous, I would be there. Like, hi, I'm Chris. I'm Chris.
I would drive you there. I'd be right next to
Right?
you. Absolutely.
So, I mean, as long as there's good people, good training,
Yes.
count me in.
Yes.
You know, I don't care how good you are. If you're not a good person, if you're a jerk, I ain't got time for it.
Get time for it.
I got too many other things to do. You know?
Absolutely.
So with Grandmaster Lim, he's a good guy.
Yes.
You know? Some of the things that kind of make him prestigious
Yes.
is the founder of Hapkido was Che Young-sul. And Grandmaster Lim was actually the longest running student of Che Young-sul.
Wow.
And when Che Young-sul closed his school in 1976, I believe that's right. See, now I'm on camera, I get a little nervous.
He's doing great. He's doing great.
So in 1976, he closed his dojang, or school, and continued for the next 10 years to teach out of my teacher's school.
Wow.
So a lot of people that say they trained with Che Young-sul in the later years, they know my teacher because they trained at my teacher's school.
Yes, yes.
So, and one of the other things that's very cool about my teacher is that in martial arts, there's usually 10 dans, 10 black belt rankings. And my teacher is one of 4 people to ever get their 9th dan directly from the founder.
Right.
So that's a huge accomplishment.
Yes.
The other thing is that Grandmaster Lim also created Chungsukka Hapdo, which is the sword style we discussed earlier.
Yes.
And one of the cool things about sword, because I mean, when I first went to Korea, I was like, I want to be Hapkido man. I just want to be bad in Hapkido, you know. So when I got there, Grandmaster Lim, so morning Hapkido, afternoon we do Hapdo, and I was like, sir, I'd rather just do the Hapkido. He goes, really? And I was like, yeah, because I really want to focus on the Hapkido. He goes, oh. He goes, those who train Hapkido, their Go Hapdo gets better. And those who do Go Hapdo, their Hapkido gets better. And I was like, I thought maybe it was a sales pitch at
Sure,
first.
a little skeptical.
But
Sure.
I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm in Korea.
Yes.
I'd be training with the guy who founded this system. What have I got to lose?
Exactly.
But as I continued with it, I saw a lot of overlap between sword work and Hapkido, between footwork, between handwork, body positionings. It was ridiculously amazing. So what I found as well is that with Hapkido, you need another person to train with.
Right.
You know, you need that other person's energy.
Exactly.
You know, their strength, their resistance. So you can't do that without another person.
Right.
So what I see is that the Hapdo, the sword work, is the solo practice for the Hapkido.
Yes.
So everything Grandmaster Lim said was true, and I was like, oh my goodness,
Right.
big light bulb.
Yeah, sure. We call it being like a uke,
Yeah.
when you punch in for somebody.
Right, right.
So, speaking of founders, you know, I founded Teikempo, and making the Hall of Fame put Teikempo on the map.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So, being the founder of something, you have to have substance to it, and you have to show people. We use very little bags. We use people, because to use a bag, you punch it, but it won't punch back.
Right.
It won't give you any resistance. It won't give you any static, in other words. But when someone is punching into you, you get that feel, you get that body.
Right.
So we're very physical at Bagwell Academy. So he and I, again, share a whole lot of similarities in our martial arts. Master LaCava, acupuncture.
Yes.
What is it?
Acupuncture is a Eastern medicine that pretty much treats almost anything. It's it primarily deals with viewing the body totally different than a Western practitioner would. It treats, like I said, almost anything. It really, there's less that it doesn't treat than it does.
Yes.
And even then, there's certain levels of efficacy with that.
Sure.
We use, primarily people know us as using needles. They're tiny filiform needles. We all use pretty much stainless steel, single-use needles. Once you use that needle, you never use it again. It goes into the sharps container, it becomes medical waste. I need a company to come in and take it out,
wow.
dispose of it properly.
Sure, sure.
Just like you would in a hospital. So we use single-use needles. What we're doing, in a nutshell, the body has a blueprint of the way it's supposed to be when it's healthy, but because of trauma, lifestyle choices, genetics, age, the body forgets, and the lines in the blueprint get a little fuzzy. So the acupuncture redefines the lines in the blueprint so the body can do what it's supposed to do and heal itself.
Yes.
So it's like retraining. It's retraining the body to do what it's supposed to do. As far as how that happens, from an Eastern viewpoint, there's energy that flows in the body. And it just doesn't fly all over the place. It flows through pathways called meridians or channels.
Sure.
And on those channels are specific points that they each do different jobs. So we have to, as an acupuncturist, figure out where that energy is messed up, what channel, and then what points we're going to use to fix that. So this energy could be too much energy, too much chi, not enough energy, so it's like deficient chi. It could be just stuck and stagnant, it's just not moving. So that's stagnant chi. And then we have what's called rebellious chi, which means the chi's going in the wrong direction.
Yes.
And people think, oh, that's crazy. But one of the ways we look at rebellious chi is that certain energies go down.
Yes.
But when you have a symptom that goes up, like coughing or sneezing, that's rebellious lung chi that's going up. The lung chi is supposed to go down, but instead it's coming up.
Coming up, sure.
So nauseous, vomiting, that's rebellious stomach chi. Stomach chi is supposed to go down.
Yes.
So
Now, do the needles hurt?
no. A lot of people think that because in our society, we think, we all see hypodermic needles, which are hollow needles with a chisel point that's going to, put something in your body or take something out. An acupuncture needle is a very, very thin. It's filiform. It's not hollow. It's solid, and it's almost the size of, say, a cat whisker. And when they get inserted, a lot of people don't even feel it. I actually did a vlog on Milford Patch.
Yes.
All about that, about what does it hurt and all that kind of stuff. So if you ever do, go to Milford Patch, look up Chris LaCava and just type in acupuncture and it should come up. That gives a little bit more in-depth on what do you feel, what don't you feel, what shouldn't you feel.
Right.
But in general, yeah, it doesn't hurt at all. Oh, I had this one patient when I was practicing in Westport.
Yes.
This woman came in. Oh, I felt terrible for her. She had such pain, but she was deathly afraid of needles.
Yes.
And she was like, I don't want to know anything. Don't show me. Don't tell me. Just do what you got to do to get this pain to go away.
Yes.
Right? So I explained to her a little bit, not a lot. Not enough to freak her out, but enough to keep her informed.
Yes.
So I start working on her, and she's got her eyes closed like this. And so she goes, all right, you can start. I said, start. Honey, I got 3 in you already. She was like, oh, unbelievable. It doesn't hurt. It's a lot more comfortable than people think. And a lot of people fall asleep during treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So acupuncture treats stress.
Yes.
Certain points are heavy endorphin releasers.
Sure.
So going to sleep is not uncommon.
Now, say my target area is my shoulder up in here, the trap.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go right to the point where it hurts or around it? How does that work?
I can do a local treatment. Local meaning that it's where it hurts.
Right.
But in acupuncture, because of the meridians and the channels,
Mm-hmm.
those channels that run here run to other places. So therefore, I can use points anywhere in the body.
Right.
So that's fantastic for those people who have like elbow pain. It just hurts to even touch, but please don't even touch it. I don't need to. I can use points anywhere else in the body to treat that.
Amazing.
I actually had this teacher at school.
Yes.
We had what was called grand rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was a patient would come in, would be treated by one of the instructors or master practitioner.
Yes.
And the student body would watch.
Mm-hmm.
And there was cameras and whatnot, and they signed off that it's all good that they watched
Sure,
and whatever.
releases. Mm-hmm.
But before the patient would come in, this one teacher would go, all right, pick a body part. And we'd pick a body part. We'd say left elbow, right? And no matter what they came in with,
Mm-hmm.
he would treat using only points in the left elbow. It was amazing.
Wow.
And he would get fantastic results.
Mm-hmm.
So acupuncture, you don't have to stick it where it hurts, but you can, and sometimes we do. It depends on the level of comfort the patient has,
Mm-hmm.
and how fast they want to recover. There's a lot of different things, but you don't have to.
Yes. Now, what are the license and the training and the schooling? How does one become an acupuncturist?
Well, right now, acupuncture entry level is the master's level.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated from Tri-State with a master's degree in acupuncture.
Yes.
So in order to get into acupuncture school, you need a certain amount of credits, college undergraduate credits. I believe it's 60 right now, and in certain courses, definitely anatomy and physiology with labs, some biosciences. Then once you get those courses, then you can apply to an acupuncture school.
Mm-hmm.
When you apply to the acupuncture school, your training will consist of anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
Amazing.
And that's primarily in Eastern medicine.
Mm-hmm.
We do some Western medicine, but a lot of the Western medicine we had to do prior to getting in.
Yes.
So, and training will usually consist somewhere in the 3,000 hour range.
Wow.
Of training. And you need clinical and didactic. You have to get your hands there, you have to do it. So once you graduate from an accredited school, you have to go to an accredited school to be licensed in Connecticut.
Yes.
So when you graduate from your accredited school, then you can sit for the national exam.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like the bar exam that
Sure.
lawyers take for
yeah.
acupuncture take.
Absolutely.
So we have to sit for that, and it's a long process.
Wow.
But once you pass that, then you can apply for licensure.
Now, Master LaCava, you do things a little different. And I can definitely vouch for that at Bagwell Academy. You not only do Hapkido, but you do acupuncture. What is that difference that you do? Explain that.
as far as with acupuncture, different. I mean, one thing is when I went to the school I went to, we trained in 3 different styles of acupuncture.
Yes.
Chinese acupuncture, which is TCM, is what everybody takes in order to pass the national exam.
Mhm.
We also trained in Japanese acupuncture, and then what's called APM style acupuncture, which stands for Acupuncture Physical Medicine, which was developed by Mark Seam. And with APM style, we they took the works of Dr. Janet Travell. She's a Western doctor who came up with the term myofascial trigger point. So if you've ever heard trigger point, she's the lady to thank.
Wow.
And what she found is that if you have a trigger point in a muscle, it'll cause pain in the local area right there, or it'll refer somewhere else in the body.
Wow.
And when looking at her research and her books, I'd say about 80% of her pain referral patterns
Yes.
refer to an acupuncture meridian.
Yes.
And she knew nothing about acupuncture, so that was amazing. So Mark Seam took that and added classical acupuncture to that. So we can actually go in and physically release a muscle and relax it, but at the same time doing a constitutional treatment to help keep that from coming up.
That's amazing.
Because if I just release your muscle, it's going to come back. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a huge cut. It's not
Right.
really, it may help a little bit, but it's just going to keep happening.
Wow.
So that's really cool. The other thing that I do a little differently is what's called community style acupuncture.
Yes.
With acupuncture, normally here in the West, most of us practice like one-on-one. One person, one room, one treatment. But what we do in community style acupuncture is it's a group setting. I have multiple recliners in the room and treat multiple people at the same time. And some of the benefits of that is, one, if you're a little hesitant about getting acupuncture, you're not too sure, you're a little nervous, you can bring somebody with you and get treated right next to them. So it kind of works as a support mechanism to, to help you get through it.
Absolutely.
The other thing is when you're in a room full of people, and if you ever notice when somebody's kind of drowsy, you kind of get drowsy. If somebody's hyped up,
Yes.
you kind of get hyped up, kind of like your classes. You
Yes.
fire people up.
Fire them up,
Right?
baby. You
It's
got
from
it.
you that kind of,
Yes.
that circle starts.
Yes, the energy, sure.
So it's the same thing with the healing process in a community acupuncture setting. You're all there for the same reason. You're there to get better, to
Yes.
heal, and that kind of helps. The other thing is cost.
Right.
Economy stinks.
Right.
It's terrible right now. So, normally with acupuncture, it costs anywhere between $65 to $150 a session.
Now, does basic benefits packages, your insurance, does it cover acupuncture?
Sometimes, you gotta check with your individual policy. Different policies will have different statutes or whatever to see whether or not you're covered. So if you think you have it, double check. It's not from company to company. It's
Right.
person to policy to policy.
Now, acupuncture sounds like a wonderful alternative. Where are you located in Milford, Mr. LaCava?
I'm on Bridgeport Avenue, right behind Crush Sports Cafe
Yes.
and Fast Signs.
Fast signs.
I'm in the back of the building. That's how I can afford the rent. So,
Right.
but yeah, I'm there. But the cost with the community acupuncture, instead of $80 a session,
Yes.
it's a sliding scale between $20 and $40 a session.
Oh, wow.
Which makes it much more affordable for
Much
people.
more affordable, sure.
And the thing is, like, let's say somebody does have acupuncture coverage. If they do have coverage, they'd have to pay a copay.
Right.
That's going to be around $20-$40 anyway.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to be able to provide to people something that they need, that they want. Because
Yes.
I always hated having somebody go, I love acupuncture, I just
Right.
can't afford it.
Yes.
And that doesn't help anybody out. So by doing the community acupuncture, people can afford the amount of treatment they need. Not just, because it's usually not a one and done, unfortunately, it's
Right.
retraining.
Right.
And as you know, you go to the gym, you're not going to go to the gym, start doing squats one time and think you're going to have buns of steel.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It takes time.
It takes time.
So
It takes time. Now, how many hours do you put in, say, with your acupuncture business? How many hours do you put in?
acupuncture alone,
Yes.
probably for 35, 40, I'm guessing.
Wow, you're cranking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, mix that in with your Hapkido training. How many hours do you train a week with your students?
I have classes about 4 hours a week that are scheduled. Then I have privates come in, people,
Exactly.
that kind of stuff.
Yes. Now, what do you do for you, Master LaCava? How does Master LaCava relax?
How do I relax?
I love to ask this question of fellow martial artists. How did you relax?
I'm a musician, so I like to play.
Wonderful.
I like doing martial arts. Actually, relaxing to me is either hanging out with the family
Yes.
or training. Training with good people. I go all over the place, not just to teach, but to train.
Right.
So, and that's how I got to meet a lot of great friends in the martial arts, is through martial arts. You know,
Yes.
that's how I make the connections in my life. Besides having a fantastic family and having, you know, a business, and, you know, it's all about connection
Yes.
and making those.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I get to meet
Now-
guys like you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. You know, we hang. You know how we get down. Master LaCava, explain to my viewers about the basis of acupuncture. In other words, when they come to you, what are the, obviously you fill out the paperwork and stuff like that, but can acupuncture actually target the area, and can it be cured? And how long do you think it takes to be cured?
All right, that's a good question. As far as how long does it take to be cured?
Yes.
Sometimes it's not being able to say cure, but it's about quality of life sometimes.
Sure.
Sometimes we're not able to help. But quality of life issues, like with cancer, I don't treat cancer, but I treat cancer patients to help with the pain, the anxiety, the depression, the nausea, the chemo brain, those kind of things I help. Those are more quality of life.
Right.
But now in the meantime, if they have some blood tests done or whatever, and it says that they're doing better, hey, God bless them. That's great. But that's not what I'm saying I'm doing. If it helps them on top of everything, score.
Exactly.
So as far as how long does it take, usually the general rule of thumb is the longer you've had a condition, the more severe the condition, the longer it's going to take to treat it effectively. And when I mean treat effectively, I mean the pain or whatever goes away and stays away. With acupuncture, you're going to get some ebb and flow going on.
Sure.
You're going to get a little better, and it's going to hurt a little bit. So it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing.
I get it.
So, but as we continue on with the sessions, you're going to need to see the acupuncturist less and less until you don't need to see them anymore for that.
Right.
Right? Because the body's taken over. When they put the needles in,
Yes.
they know the body says, oh, okay, I see what you're trying to get.
Sure.
So as you go longer and longer, it's like, I got this.
I got
Don't
this.
worry about it.
Exactly. Now, one more time for my viewers, where are you located again?
I'm on Bridgeport Avenue in Milford.
What's the address there? What number?
1015 Bridgeport Avenue. That's 1015 Bridgeport Avenue. And I'm behind Crush Sports Cafe and Fast Signs.
Fast Science. Master LaCava is very unique in that he understands exactly what the needs are as far as the body is concerned. The mind is also connected. So therefore, there's a verbal piece too as well to walk you through exactly what you're going to go through. As fellow martial artists, we know that the more you put into something is the more that you get out. I have something called the 5P principle. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. I know Master LaCava is always properly prepared as far as his master in Hapkido, or of course his professionally in, of course, acupuncture. Chris LaCava, I want to give you 2 palms, man. I enjoyed the show. We were educated. We were fantastic. We were blown away by your expertise.
Oh, no, I appreciate it.
And we got to have you back on the show again, my man.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Yes. My name is Shehan Herbie Bagwell with my guest, Master Chris LaCava. Thank you for watching the Bagwell Academy of Martial Arts and Fitness show. Have a great night.
50. I get it. I get it. Yeah. I run New York. I get it.